You're listening to an East Coast Guild podcast. Check us out at eastcoastguild.com.
Hello, and welcome to That's No Moon. I'm Leah.
I'm Jim, or Kill, either way.
And we are your hosts. Today we're going to talk about The Bad Batch, which is starting on Disney Plus on May the 4th, which is very, very soon. Today's April 16th if you're listening in the future. And if you're watching us live, you can join the Discord and call in at the end of the show if you have any questions or want to talk to us about Star Wars or pretty much anything Star Wars. It doesn't have to be Bad Batch. So let's jump into The Bad Batch.
Super exciting stuff tonight. I'm so hyped.
Clone Force 99.
Good old Clone Force 99, who, of course, because they have, 5 names that you see only in like 2 episodes of Clone Wars, I don't remember any of them half the time, but it's okay. I'm really excited about this show. It's going to be good. So we have Wrecker, Crosshair, Tech, Hunter, and then I do know that Echo joins at one point in time too, to make it the final 5th one of the squad. Because it was just the 4 originally, and then they had some stuff happen, which was pretty cool. So
going into season 1, you should probably at least watch the first 4-episode arc of Clone Wars season 7.
Yes.
It really has nothing to do with the rest of Clone Wars, other than the fact there are clones in it.
The only thing it has to do, it does have some tie-ins with Echo.
Yeah,
but that's really it. You can get through it without having to know everything about Echo. Echo's really cool, but he ended up getting kidnapped. And they were like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then they thought he was dead, and then they found out that he wasn't dead. There's your catch up.
Yep.
And it was really cool because they actually ended up calling in Clone Force 99 to come help.
And they're named Clone Force 99 after 99, which is the sweetest thing. 99 is the best clone.
Oh yeah, that's right. 99 was He's the one that aged super quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he never got to fight, and he just wanted to be a good soldier.
Yeah, he wanted nothing more than just being a good dude and being in there. Oh, so good. I remember that now. Clone 99.
I love 99. 99 is an underrated arc.
It was such a good arc. The Clone Wars in general is an underrated arc in Clone Wars, so let's just be honest with that. Like,
this is true.
The TV show is so underhyped because everybody's like, Clone Wars, you mean the 2003 one? And we're like, no, we mean the actual, like, Dave Filoni one that was good. Like, that, kind of didn't kill the canon.
Yes.
But it was really cool. And it's really neat getting to see them. They're cool dudes. They came in, they're basically like, they're the special force of the special force. Like, they're all, I don't even think they're considered ARC troopers, but they are like, their own clan of thing.
They each have their own genetic mutation that gives them like a superpower. So Wrecker is super strong, and he's always like, can I blow it up? Can I wreck it?
He's like, if you guys ever played Borderlands 1, he's basically Brick. If you've ever played Borderlands, he's Brick.
Crosshair has supervision that makes him like the world's best sniper to ever exist.
If you ever played Halo Reach, he's like June. Sorry, I have all these characters I can connect them to.
Yeah, that works. Tech, obviously, he's really good at technical things and hacking and just understanding technology.
If you ever knew what the word tech meant, you'll know what tech is.
Yeah. And Hunter, who kind of looks like the Rambo clone, he's
the Rambo clone. He's got the knife and everything. He's got a Bowie knife and everything.
He has a little headband that he ties around his head. He has a mutation that allows him to sense electromagnetic signals,
which can go from anything from light to X-ray to infrared, to UV, all those things, because those are all electromagnetic. Now, I don't know that Star Wars has said that they can go that far. I'm just telling you as a physicist what electromagnetic is, which is basically just the light spectrum. Yeah, if they follow the laws of physics, it's basically anything on the spectrum of light, which is super cool because he actually uses that too, which makes him also a little bit weird because I wonder when this batch got fully like created.
See, I want to know if I don't know if they ever address this or if Wikipedia even addresses it. Are they all from the same batch, or are they all just like mutant rejects from other batches that
Well,
have kind of
that's
been assembled?
see, that's a great question too, because I don't think we even have their clone numbers.
No, because they never call them CT whatever. They always. Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. No, they're talking about Agent Cody right here.
No,
So, yeah,
Cody, and then they got clone. They got Rex, which is 7567, Jesse, which is 5597, Kix, which is 6116, and then
yeah, even if
Echo
you
wasn't
click,
Echo was an ARC trooper.
even if you click on like their individual
Yeah.
page in Wikipedia, they don't have a clone number. So
Because that's what I'm looking at in records right now.
my theory is that they were all rejects of various batches that weren't like useless rejects. So they
My
kept
guess
them.
is that Camino saw what happened with 99, and they tried in the future on these future batches when they saw a clone kind of like, they tried to reverse and they ended up going too far on the other side.
Yeah.
And that's what created these guys.
Or they're just failed experiments of
Yeah.
could we make their vision better, and then you get
you have the 1 out of 1,000 that becomes, cross-eye,
they're
crosshair.
mutants.
Yeah, they are. And it also could have just
the
been
Clone Force.
Yeah, exactly. They could have also just literally been like, hey, we just happen to be these special ones too. Like, it could have been that they just magically, weren't tested on, they just happened.
Yeah.
As like a biological anomaly, right?
Yep.
So it's really cool because they come in and they basically help with the insurrection at Yalbik Prime, which was super neat. They were working with Cody, who actually summoned them from their last place, and they ended up going and fighting and finishing off the insurrection and actually helping it there during the Clone Wars. At which point in time, CT-7567, our good old Captain Rex, was actually like working on getting into this cyber center and stuff like this, and so they worked with them on infiltrating the cyber center, because you have to. The best reason was the fact that they were there. Like, I mean, movie magic was the reason. Which was super cool. They went and did that. Then they did a couple of different things. Like, I don't have my history up on them as well as I would like to.
Yeah, I don't really remember what happens in their arc other than
the biggest thing was saving Echo. Yeah.
The biggest thing was that, but also that was the first time we got to taste the sweet season 7 animation.
Yes.
And we were all like, oh, we can do this now.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So the entire Bad Batch series will be at Clone Wars season 7 standards.
Yes.
It's going to be beautiful animation. If you look at the trailer, it's already stunning.
It looks great. I'm super duper excited to see it kind of grow and get better from there, and I'm super excited to see it when it comes out. I know we are going to be talking about the episodes as it goes on and everything like that too, as the series goes through, as we learn more. And so
I can't find the view.
It's okay, I believe in you. So there we go. So the other really cool part about this Clone Force, about the Bad Batch, is again they're these commando special forces that we don't learn a lot about the commando special forces as things are going through. We actually had some books called the Republic Commandos, which I think there might have been some loose connections with all of that. And then the really, really cool part, the cool part about them was just the fact that like they were different, and with Echo and everything that was going on there, they couldn't. So here's some spoilers about Clone Wars season 7. If you guys aren't ready for it, I guess click off. Goodbye. Come back and like, you shouldn't have clicked on this in the first place. Go watch season 7 and then come back. Come on. So, Echo, we thought he died, a long while ago, like in season 5 or something like that, and he had disappeared, and we end up finding out that one of the robot commander dudes, who's like super well programmed, is basically, he's having weird tactics. And it's like he can read the clones' tactics, so they call the Bad Batch in because they're unreadable, because they're mutated. So they're not going to be normal. So they go and they grab them to come help out. They do amazing things, and they break in, and then they end up finding all the way up. They get to this point where they get to where the computer is, and the computer is Echo.
And it's like real dark and real creepy and borderline like horror, where he's plugged into this computer and being tortured to give up the clone's plans.
Well, yeah, he was plugged in. Like, he didn't have a choice. He was just plugged in. So
he's part computer at this point.
Which is also makes him a really great connection, because he's basically been kind of like changed a little bit to do that stuff, and is now my brain died for a second. Now he's like an astromech a little bit too, because like he's got one of his arms is actually one of the like the probe
port thingies,
ports, which is just super neato. So yeah, there's my quick history on the Bad Batch. Now,
and their little arc just kind of ends with them disappearing and taking Echo with them.
Yeah, so they take Echo with them, and they're just running off to go do their own thing.
And we don't really know what happens after that. Yeah. But I'm assuming we're gonna find out in episode 1, the 70-minute premiere special.
We kind of have to. I think we're gonna find out. I think we're gonna find out about what happened during the end, right after what happened with them during Order 66.
Yeah.
And then I think we're gonna find out what happened when they got back to Camino.
Yes.
I think that's gonna be the whole intro episode.
And something to do with Omega. Omega's gonna come in here somehow, and we're gonna figure out why there's a child.
Omega looks like a female clone.
Yeah, so I've seen several theories on what Omega is. One is that it's an unaltered clone, or it's the last clone, because it's Omega, so it's the end. A female clone is out there. One is that it's a Palpatine clone, potentially Rey's dad.
I could see that a little bit, but Omega.
Everyone thought that Omega was a boy in the original trailer.
First, yeah.
But it's been confirmed that it's a girl, so maybe it's Rey's mom. But
it wouldn't be a Palpatine then.
No,
because her dad was the Palpatine.
So that theory is debunked. If Omega, I don't know where we confirmed Omega's gender, but if Omega is a girl,
I don't know either. I don't know how they confirmed that at all. Unless
I like the Palpatine theory, because Omega's wearing this headset thing that's very.
It's wearing the beads Palpatine. And stuff like that. It seems very Nubian.
Another theory is that it's Sabine and Obi-Wan's love child.
I'm here for that. I can't see any Obi-Wan. Oh my gosh. Talking about that, sidetrack. There is actually, you remember the guy that was like Satine's like nephew that she was super overprotective of?
Corgi.
There's a huge fan theory out there that Corgi is their love child.
I'm 50-50 on this, because I don't think Obi-Wan would. I think he's just too good. He's not Anakin. He's too much, I'm a Jedi, I have to follow the rules, that he's not going to have even a one-night stand with Satine.
It would have happened while he was a Padawan, though.
I still think he's too good.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it would have happened when he was a Padawan, and if it happened before he was Qui-Gon's Padawan, he was incredibly rebellious. The reason they put him with Qui-Gon is because he would rebel against Qui-Gon's rebelliousness to straighten up.
And follow the rules.
Yes.
But still, I don't think it's in his nature.
No.
Even as a rebellious Padawan, he still followed the rules. He's not going to go off and murder somebody either. So I just don't know.
I hate sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, he's not going to, like I said, he's not Anakin. He doesn't let his feelings get in the way.
Yes. Although there was also the original theory for Rey, the original plan for Rey was going to be she was going to be a Kenobi.
I didn't like that theory either.
I liked it more than the one we got. But that's just me. I didn't like that. I would have preferred that she was a nobody.
I love Rey Nobody.
Nobody was perfect.
Still my headcanon.
I'm still way happier with that. I think Rey Palpatine doesn't make any sense, and you're making Mandalorian have to make up for making that to make sense.
I've rewritten it in my head where that's just a lie that Palpatine told her to control her, and it's not true. It's totally my own.
We'll never know.
Fantasy world.
We'll never know.
But
we'll never know until 20 years down the line when they make episode 10.
Yes.
But that was the interesting thing though with all this stuff going on, and we have no idea who Omega is. We just know that
they just threw this kid into the trailer, and the internet's like, I mean, the clones are cool and all, but who is this child?
I don't even know if there was like, maybe it's on StarWars.com. I'll check StarWars.com because maybe it's in the Bad Batch series exploration.
I feel like they'd be giving. Let's see. I'm gonna click the Omega link on
Crosshair record Echo.
Omega. Wikipedia just says that Omega was a human female child who lives in the years following the Clone Wars.
I know. I looked into that one already. I was like, okay. So it doesn't tell us anything.
If Omega is a female child, this is a very bad character design. It's a very masculine character design. But Wikipedia also says that the hair color is brown, so don't trust it.
They could just be calling it brown too. Alright.
While you do that, I'll share the fun facts from the bottom of the page.
Do it up.
George Lucas came up with the idea of the Bad Batch because he wanted to explore the idea that they were clones who were more unique with special skill sets. They were originally going to appear in another arc in the series, but because the show was canceled before season 7 could be completed, it would have rewritten season 7. Basically, they fought against a Trandoshan separatist leader, and none of the Echo arc was a part of it. So I'm glad they scrapped that because I think the Echo arc's better.
I think the Echo arc made more sense. Also, everything I'm seeing, Game Rant basically said that it's heavily implied. I don't know that it's actually been confirmed.
Okay. Knowing how the animation of the Star Wars Clone Wars universe works, usually their female designs are much more feminine. And this just isn't feminine enough.
The only thing is, like, the face is slightly... it's literally neutral. Like, it is the closest to it's like Breath of the Wild Link. Breath of the Wild Link was supposed to be very, like, gender neutral.
Maybe it's a a non-binary character.
Could be a very non-binary character, which I'm fine with. I just would like to know who you are. I don't know.
Other characters we haven't talked about that we're going to see in Bad Batch is Fennec Shand. Which, when that got confirmed, it came out of nowhere because Ming-Na Wen just kept it so quiet. Season 2 of Mandalorian happens, and then it's like, oh, by the way, guys, she's in this too. And the internet lost their minds. We're also going to see Saw Gerrera again.
Oh, yay. I have mixed feelings on Saw Gerrera, okay? Like, he's like an interesting character, but he's kind of a jerk. I didn't like him in Rebels.
I like him better in I can't think of what it's Rogue One.
He was pretty good in Rogue One. He was not good in I didn't like his character in Fallen Order or in Rebels. I felt like he was just way too guerrilla warfare.
He's crazy.
Yes.
I only really like him when played by Forrest Whitaker. I don't like him as the younger versions of him.
Yeah.
That being said, I really didn't like him in the Catalyst novel. He's a lot younger there too, so maybe that's why.
True.
And we're also getting Rex back.
Yes.
So we're going to see what happens to Rex after he leaves Ahsoka at the Clone Grave.
And how he ends up getting probably to where they find him on Rebels, which I don't remember what planet it is.
Whatever desert planet with giant snakes under the ground that was.
Literally all of them.
Whichever one has Jupas, because they were slinging for Jupas when they first meet the Rebel squad.
I'm just trying to. I'm like everything I'm looking like. Everybody's like, so as the group, the kid as the group designates her. Like I don't know. How do they? Everybody's just saying that. Like I'm not saying that she's not, or that they're not. I just don't. There's nothing that's confirmed by a reputable source.
Yeah.
Like everything's like, comic book, like CBR, news, like Game Rant, like all of these things are like, or Reddit, like they're like calling them he or she, and like I looked on the Star Wars website and it didn't say.
I guess that'll be our first answer that we'll get.
It will be
in episode 1.
Wait, was it the Sizzle? I'm trying to see if it was the Sizzle trailer was different. No, I don't think it was. Okay. Apparently, if you watch it with
the name.
Apparently, if you watch it with closed captions, it might give us something. That's how they got the name. That's how they knew the name was Omega. Was because they put on closed captions.
Was how did they get the name? Because I just watched the trailer literally 30 minutes ago before we started this, and I didn't see it. But
so I'm literally like I'm on Star Wars. I'm gonna like watch the trailer again without sound on. Not that they can hear it anyway. I have sound turned off, but I'm just curious because I was like, what is going on? Caption. Yeah, I want to understand like Omega. I can understand that part, but I do want to see if there's any understanding of like what's going on. Like now I just have too many questions because if they're a male,
it could be a
Palpatine clone. If it's
which makes sense, especially tying into the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
these,
it does.
Like weird failed clone.
Or these independent clones. Only thing is, it's not. My guess is it would probably not be Rey's father. Well, no, it's possible. It's possible. Actually, it'd be very possible. Yeah, no, timeline actually does fit perfectly. Yeah. Because they'd only be like 50, 60 when they're there. So.
And it would be a great way. So, obviously, when the prequels came out and everyone hated them, Clone Wars kind of went back and like patched all these holes and questions that people had about them. Yeah. And it's about time that something other than Mandalorian, something needs to happen to kind of fix the holes in the sequel trilogy. And so this would be the first Filoni patch, if we will.
Literally is everybody's problem with the sequel trilogy. Like,
yeah.
Well, okay. Outside of our wonderful gatekeepers in the community,
them excluded.
Everybody's like, I didn't like it because I didn't like the writing. It didn't feel.
It wasn't cohesive.
Yeah, it didn't feel in line with everything else that was going on and everything else we've gotten, which is completely fair because it wasn't a full story. Because, yeah, Omega, you got the name Omega from the captions. That can confirm that one. Don't know. We'll find out. On May 4th. But it's just. It's interesting. I don't know.
The sequel trilogy needs a Clone Wars to come in and be like.
It does.
Like, I don't think if without the Clone Wars, I would not like the prequel era. They'd be fine. They'd be there. They'd be movies I watch occasionally. But Clone Wars made me love the prequel era and love Anakin and all the characters that it brings to the table.
It fills them up more. It beefs up the story, and we do need that. And I just kind of, I don't know. It's the biggest problem of it all is like it just doesn't feel like it all connects. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, I rewatched 7. I enjoy 7. 7 as a standalone, like good movie. 8, I'm still like torn on. I like it. I've revisited my opinion a couple of times after like going and listening to multiple interviews with different people because like there's that part of you that you're like, I want, you know, if the person who played the character feels like they were done dirty, then you're like, nah, then obviously they were, done kind of dirty. But like even then, like you have to be careful where you get your guys' source material, and I'm going to say this because there are people on YouTube that want you to see their opinion, and they will use anybody's words to paint it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So finding the source material is a massive thing because Mark Hamill said, I didn't really like what they were doing at first. And then that's where everybody cuts the interview.
Yep.
But then he goes, but when I saw what Ryan had turned the entire thing into, I loved it. Which was the same way he felt about episode 6, but you don't hear people giving episode 6 trash because he said, I wanted to be evil. I thought it would be really cool if Luke just embraced the dark side. But that didn't fit with the narrative that needed to happen for the trilogy. And 2, it's, it's not what George wanted. So it's now, no, I do think that I don't think that Ryan has a lot of respect for Luke as a character himself, but he understands the basis of him in the community. And I think that he did him dirty because it wasn't explained what he did. Like,
if he had gotten to direct episode 9, he could have given that explanation.
He could have. Because,
but he didn't get to.
He didn't. And the thing is, like, but it's also just like, JJ didn't get the ability to direct episode 8.
Yeah.
If we had one director through all of them, I think it would have been a much better story. Just because the writing would have been linear throughout the whole thing. They could have followed the path they wanted to follow the whole time. And then the only other problem was that they lied to the community because Kathleen Kennedy did come out and say, she's like, yeah, we have a plan. We know who Rey's parents are, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Daisy Ridley came out like with an interview right before Rise of Skywalker. She goes, yeah, I didn't know who my parents were until we came up with it while we were filming.
Yeah, I can go into a whole rant about the way that they treated Daisy and Adam during that movie, but we'll save that for another episode.
Oh, not to mention how characters that got just done dirty. Man, we could do that as a whole episode. Characters that got done dirty. Like Finn got done dirty. Ben Solo got done dirty. Rey got done dirty. Rose got done so dirty.
She's probably the worst case.
She had so much potential for 5 minutes of one of the movies and then just got destroyed throughout the rest of that movie and in the next one.
Yeah, she got treated really dirty.
Oh. It's kind of like annoying. We're not even talking about the Bad Batch anymore. That's a sad part.
Yeah, we should go back to Bad Batch.
But we'll save that for another time. We'll rant about it again. It's and I think the thing is, like, I do understand why people get so passionate about it. Just to wrap up, right? I understand why people get so passionate. Like, we love this universe. We adore this universe.
Mm-hmm.
It is our home far, far away, long, long ago. And so we only want the best. And people like get too passionate about it. And then there is also the underlying issues of the gatekeepers that then when you're like, well, I didn't like the movies, everybody thinks you're a gatekeeper because they think that you don't like them for that, the sexism reasons. Mm-hmm. Where really you're like, no, I felt like it didn't seem seamless. Where the other 2 trilogies, they were pretty, they had time skips, but they were pretty seamless. Like the story flowed.
George Lucas had a plan, and he had at least
an idea. He did not have a plan. He had an idea. Because if you look at episode 2, he had no plan. He was coming up with it while he was directing it.
The original trilogy had a plan.
Yes, it did. I'll give it. Well, no, it didn't. Because at the beginning of episode 5, they changed the fact that Vader was his father. That wasn't an original thing in episode 4.
He had an outline. He
my thing is like
bullet points as he went.
My thing is, we need to be able to understand that Star Wars was made without a plan. And that's okay.
But they learned their lesson, and going into this next phase of TV and High Republic and stuff, They have planned it out so well.
I almost wonder if it's going to be overplanned though, and it's going to lose that like little bit of luster of nobody knows what's going to happen next.
I don't know. I think I felt like I knew where it was going to go for this phase 1B.
Yeah.
And then they were like, JK, Galactic Fair is happening and bad shit's going to go down. And I was like, oh, I thought we were going to still talk about the Starlight Beacon. I'm glad we're getting away from that.
Yeah.
So they're still throwing in things, and like we only have very, very small plot synopses yet so far for the next phase of material. But
we'll see how it grows. Intriguing. I'm excited to see how it grows. I want it to do well. I really do. I only want good things to come from the series. I'm just saying. I'm curious to see how it turns out. That's what I'm. There you go. That's what I'm getting at.
So to segue back into the new era of TV.
Exactly, which to go off of, I'm really excited to see how Bad Batch turns out, because Bad Batch is going to be so interesting. After watching the 2 trailers, I don't know, how do you feel? How do you feel after watching the first 2 trailers?
The first trailer, I was like, this is exactly what I'd expect from a Star Wars Bad Batch trailer. Like, it wasn't that... Yeah. It wasn't even a sizzle reel. It was just kind of like... I don't know, it wasn't that exciting. Like, I was happy to have it, but it wasn't exciting to me. But trailer 2, I was like, oh, like, we're going here. We're going straight into, like, we gotta kill the clones because they're not listening to Tarkin. Like, okay.
The man is evil. The man is just straight up Satan incarnate. And he's not, because that's Palpatine, but still.
I don't know. I think that Tarkin is scarier than Palpatine, because Palpatine's a Force user. Like, obviously, Force users are more powerful beings.
Yeah.
Tarkin's just evil. Like, he doesn't have the dark side.
He doesn't like he doesn't have the charisma to pull back on. He's just a jerk.
Yeah. And so he's gonna hunt down these clones, and they're gonna hunt down him, and I feel like it's not gonna end well for one of them.
Well, we know who's still alive at the end of at the beginning of the rebellion, so.
I don't think they're going to kill off the main squad in their own TV show.
We'll see how many seasons they get, though.
But also, they sent off the main characters in Rebels at the end of the show, so...
They did. But Dave Filoni is planning on bringing that back, which I think is going to happen in the Ahsoka TV show.
Oh, it's definitely happening in the Ahsoka show.
It's got to. I don't know. I really want to find out who Omega is. That's the thing. I don't know who they are. And I'm going to use they until we have a full knowledge, because nothing against Wikipedia.
I don't trust it.
But how do we know? Give me like one thing of proof. Actually, wait, they do cite their sources. Oh, okay. German subtitles.
Oh, because they have
masculine and feminine words. Yep. So they use the
word Omega is a feminine word.
That is true. The word Omega is a feminine word, and it is also, if you go through Judeo-Christian, it's referring to God, who's generally referred to as a he in the Bible. So who knows? Still have no idea. But it could be something that when they were talking about the kid, like describing who the kid is, there might have been a predecessor. I don't know. I don't know German.
I don't either.
But yeah, they have that in their notes and references. So
okay, that makes a little bit more sense than just like pulling out of thin air.
Yes. I would be interested to know more about why, like where that came from, and hopefully it's not just from the word Omega, because the word Omega in Latin is feminine.
It's just because it ends with A.
True. Yeah. Good old Latin.
It comes in handy sometimes.
It does. Especially with old Roman and Greek words.
Especially when I go to spell the word necessary. Because I can just hear necesse est.
See, the only thing I pulled from my early Latin classes was stercus accidit.
Shit happens.
Yup. That was it. That was the one. That's what I always held.
One of these things is more useful than the other.
Esquidest.
I need to start saying that
That's what I
in my
say.
daily life.
That's great. Ah, Staircus. What? Nothing. Don't worry about it. I don't know. What are your thoughts going into this series? Like, so I guess first question. Let's start Order 66.
Where do I think they were?
Brain chips. What do you think's going on? Do you think they have malfunctioned chips? Do you think that only part of the orders were there? Completely non-functional? What do we think?
If we're because we're just completely theorizing at this point because we have nothing to go off of.
Nothing to go off of other than they have trouble listening to orders, which
we knew.
We knew.
I think they're all smart enough and they're all technologically savvy enough that after they heard about the incident with Fives, it was Fives who went crazy, right?
Fives went crazy.
So after they hear about that, they start digging because they're obviously friends with Rex. So they start digging.
They were friends with Cody.
Rex and Cody.
Yeah, I think they were.
They hear through the clone grapevine about Five's meltdown and like, dude, there's this chip because Rex knew, Cody knew.
Rex didn't believe in the chip though.
He didn't, but he does eventually get his chip.
He does eventually get it removed, but that's during Order 66.
Yeah. But he believes eventually. So they hear about Fives having his meltdown, and they start to dig because they have access to all the Kaminoan files because they're the elite clone squad.
Of course.
And maybe they don't find out the true purpose of Order 66 is to kill the Jedi, but they're like, hey, they're putting these chips in our heads when they make us. That's sketchy. Let's take it out. So that could explain why they don't have chips. I think they're not going to have chips because that would make the most to me, but there's also possible they have a Rex moment where they're just like pulling chips out of heads in the middle of the action.
See, I totally feel like they have malfunctioned chips. So like they work, but they're not like, it's like doing a suggestion versus like a command, you know? So it's like
override it.
Yeah, so they it's like I like want to use like D&D spells, you know? Like it's like using a suggestion spell versus like a full-on, it's like using a Jedi mind trick, right?
Yeah.
On the weakest of minds, it completely, you're 100% in. And the stronger the mind is, it's kind of like, I guess that makes sense, so I'll go along with it. No, your trick doesn't work on me. You know? And I think that they're sitting on that kind of makes sense because they were very much, more than any other clone, they were built for war. Mm-hmm. They were built for fighting. So they want nothing more than to continue to fight, to continue to be a part of that fight. And I don't think that they would have gotten pulled in for training with Tarkin if they hadn't
succeeded in some level at Order 66.
If they either hadn't succeeded or they had decided they hadn't participated, because they'd be running. They'd be on the run already, which they go on the run because Tarkin's like, we need to get rid of these guys because they're too dangerous.
Which they are.
They are, but that's versus like, which I think is where they have that suggestion, right? Like, oh yeah, this is an order from my commanding officer. Okay, I'm going to do it. Whereas, wait, you want to kill me? No, you can't kill me. That's not going to happen. So I think that's kind of where it fits in my head more, where I'm like, because they might not have participated in Order 66. They didn't have a Jedi general.
That was my next thing I was getting at was, where are they? Because obviously they're not in the movies because we didn't know they existed yet. But,
exactly. I think that they were, they were off doing a mission against a separatist group.
Yeah.
And Order 66 just means that the fighting stops.
Did they even get the little hologram of Palpatine being like, execute Order 66? Or were they like, let's not worry about Clone Force 99 because they're not even with any Jedi?
I think they would have still gotten it because it went to every clone. Mm-hmm. Like it went to every clone commander. So Hunter got it. I just think it would have been one of those things of like, they got it. They'd have been like, okay, because it was kind of like, it was two parts. It was the war's over and Jedi are treasons. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly. I'll look it up to be on the safe side, but like,
Because in season 7, when they get it, it's like immediate shift in personality. Like Rex is like must kill
like,
Ahsoka.
yeah. Well,
they,
and like
stiffen up when they.
And Cody kind of just completely like changes too in the movie.
Mm-hmm. And in the canon comics, we see that as well. Like they're literally just like sitting around a fire having a good old time with Kanan and his master,
Yes.
and then they get the little hologram, and it's like, okay, we're gonna murder everybody now.
Exactly, because it's under this directive, any and all Jedi leadership must be executed for treason against the Republic. Any soldier that does not comply with the order will also be executed for treason. So that is Order 66, which basically means that the war is over, or even then that the war is not over. They're going to keep fighting clankers.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like even if they got that, they'd have gotten it, been like, okay, if we see a Jedi, we kill him, but we're not going to see a Jedi, and we're going to kill all these clankers. So I think that that's probably where they were, because they didn't have a Jedi general anyway, and they weren't part of the First Legion, which was the best of the 501st, to go hunting for Jedi. So my guess is they have chips, they work on it, but they were not a part of Order 66. That's my guess. And of course they get them removed after seeing Rex.
Gonna be the biggest arc of episode 1, because it's what the people like. That's what everyone's dying to know is where was the Bad Batch during Order 66.
Well, we all want to know.
We'll probably end that first episode with the confrontation with Tarkin. That's going to end up getting them like hunted for the rest of the season.
That'd be my guess.
Series or whatever.
Yeah. And then I mean, in all honesty, it'd be really cool to see. That later. It'd be really cool to see if they actually like end up starting stuff with the rebellion first off. That's to like lead into Rebels to like connect it.
I want to know if they're going to meet up with Bail, or at least one of Bail's cells, because.
Yeah, Bail can't be connected.
Yeah. A Fulcrum cell. He's going to meet up with a Fulcrum cell. Yeah. But also Ahsoka knows who they are. Does she? No, they never interact because she's off doing her own thing in season 7. So.
She never ran in with them. She could know about them, but she doesn't know them.
She knows Echo.
She would definitely know Echo. Echo would know her.
And she knows Rex, and Rex knows she's still alive.
And Rex knows them.
The clones are meeting Rex in this series, so that's one thing no one's really brought up is there could be an Ahsoka appearance very easily.
There
at some point
more
in the
than
show.
Likely will be.
I haven't heard anyone speculate about that yet, so
I can't see there being a reason why there wouldn't be some.
Except for Ahsoka and Rex can't meet because they don't meet again until Rebels.
Yes.
So.
Well,
this is so close to Order 66.
It's so close to the end of Order 66 that they could meet because they haven't seen each other in like at least 10 years kind of thing. Like, it's obvious they haven't seen each other in a decade and a half, but like, I'd be worried. I mean, if I was Ahsoka, I wouldn't want to see them, right? Like, I'd be scared to see them because
they almost killed you.
They'll see your lightsabers and try to kill you.
Yeah.
Well,
unless they get their chips out.
Which after they meet Rex, they will. Like, Rex would be like, you guys still have the brain thing?
let's get rid of
that. Bro, let's take care of that brain thingy real quick.
It's just a minor brain surgery. It's no big deal.
Ahsoka did it in the middle of a battle.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was season 7.
I need to rewatch it. I'm scared to rewatch it because I cried really hard when I watched season 7.
That's fair. I need to rewatch it too. I think we're gonna rewatch it as my community. We're gonna rewatch it after like we get through. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up the sequel trilogy. So we got episode 8 next Wednesday, episode 9 the following Wednesday, and then I think we're gonna start. Then we're gonna do probably Rogue One and Solo, and then we'll probably move into the TV shows.
Nice.
Because then it's like the closer we can get me to summer, the longer Wednesday community nights can be for watching TV shows and movies. So I can end up, we can watch more episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah. It'll be here soon. It's getting close.
Oh yeah, June. June, I'm done. All the time in the world to sit there and think about how next year's going to turn out.
Is it question time?
I think we're up to question time. So if you guys have any questions, please put them in chat. Jump into the Discord if you guys want to. We still we still have yet to have our first guest on stream. So if you would like to be the first guest to ask us a Star Wars question on stream, we would love to have you here. Please, be good. Don't be a jerk. Take all the proper rules, all that good stuff. But we would love to have any conversation with you guys. If you guys have any questions, please put them in chat. Otherwise, now is our time where we're just going to ramble about stuff for about 15 minutes unless people have questions. Which I'm going to start this off with. I want to know more about the Inquisitors and the Inquisitorium.
We get a little bit in the Vader comics, but not much.
Not nearly enough. Like, there's some in the Dark... I guess I need to go read Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith. But, like... I want to know more about the
comic series. Yeah. Or is that the book?
That was
my brain is too full of things. Yeah, that's the one that I just read. You get a little bit of how it was started, but not a lot. They're basically all Jedi rejects.
But see, the thing is, the Grand Inquisitor was a Temple Guard. How did he fall? Like, why did they not kill him?
That is not addressed at all in the comics.
Like,
Vader just goes and finds him and picks him up, and he's like, Palpatine told me to go find you, and Palpatine's like, you're head of the Inquisitors. And that's all the explanation we get.
But how? I know you don't know, but I'm just like...
I don't know.
But how? Like, I want to understand why he, like... how did he fall? Because then he still goes and shows Ezra...
Well, so he does...
too, to find his Kyber crystal.
They do touch on the fact that he was a Padawan at one point, the Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah.
And he asked too many questions. Like, in that issue of the comics, they're hunting down Jocasta Nu to murder her. And so she remembers him and it was like, you always were annoying me for asking too many questions and trying to get knowledge that you weren't
supposed to have.
You weren't ready for because you were too hungry for knowledge. And so they kind of say it without really saying it, where I think he asked one too many questions and they wouldn't answer it, and so he just left.
But see, he was a Temple Guard, wasn't he?
I don't think so. When they find him,
because he was in a Temple Guard outfit. Yeah, he was. He was a Jedi Temple Guard.
So the way that Palpatine persuades him is he's basically like, you have free run of the library now. Have fun. Join my squad. Go kill some people.
Yeah, and then I don't know what their lightsabers are because
I have no clue what those are.
They're not full Sith because they didn't bleed their Kyber.
No.
But they have red lightsabers, so did... Now, no, this does bring up the question, did Sidious take the extra Kyber either from the Kyber Arch if it was still up? Did he take some of the Kyber out of the lightsabers? And did he bleed them and have like a reservoir that he bled personally to give off?
I think Vader bled them because they make a big deal in the beginning of the Vader comic.
About him bleeding his.
Him bleeding them, but he's in charge of the Inquisitors. Sidious gives him the Inquisitors.
Yeah, so maybe
his own army. But I just finished reading Catalyst, and in Catalyst, while the Inquisitors are out doing Inquisitor things and murdering people, they're harvesting all of the Kyber crystals to bring them to Galen Erso for research. So like they're harvesting a bunch of Kyber crystal.
Well, yeah, because that happens in Fallen Order. In Fallen Order they actually invade Ilum. Yeah. Which is why Ilum had been like basically strip mined of Kyber come episode 7. Because that was Ilum. Starkiller Base was Ilum. Which is just so sad that you had to blow up Ilum.
I know. Ilum did not deserve that. But I feel like...
Meanwhile, Anakin's laughing in his grave. Because he's like, hey, you wouldn't give me a Kyber crystal that last time. How do you feel now?
That's what you get. But yeah. I don't know where they got them.
I don't know either. I'm just like, there's so many like... And now note. This question has no matter on any other part of the story other than I just want to know.
Yeah. No, I have no clue.
Like,
But
I feel like
they
it
were
would
just
be
using
good.
Kyber that was just chilling. But
Yeah,
that's
but
just my theory.
see, my question is, who bled it? Because Kyber doesn't turn red unless it's been bled.
It has to be either Sidious or Vader.
So yeah, it would have to be
the
Sidious or
Inquisitors
Vader
themselves.
because they don't become full Sith. Unless, wait a minute, let me see the Grand Inquisitor's eyes. It might have been his job as the Grand Inquisitor. He might not have gotten the title of Sith.
They are yellow.
Because I don't know if all of the Inquisitor's eyes are yellow. His are, he probably bled his, but his eyes could have been yellow. No, they were like a gray beforehand.
Okay, so that.
I think he bled his, based off the eyes, but the thing is, Dooku didn't have Sith eyes, but he bled his crystal too. So I don't know.
Maybe it just no, because Anakin gets yellow eyes. I was gonna say maybe
Anakin had yellow eyes
that
beforehand. Well, Sidious has yellow eyes too. He's Nabooan, but
when he's presenting as Sheev, he doesn't really have yellow eyes, does he?
No, he has a way to cloak it.
Yeah.
Dooku never. The reason Dooku doesn't have the eyes, I remember reading up on it, was Dooku doesn't have yellow eyes because he literally was like, he dabbled in the dark side, but he wasn't a Sith. Like, he never fully committed. Anakin did the full send.
Yeah.
He full sent. That boy went, Palpatine went, kill the younglings, and he went, how high?
Yep.
He was one of those. He was like, okay, let's go, let's do this. I mean, he didn't want to do it, but he did it. Which was his descent. But he still wasn't even fully over to becoming Vader when he would see Padme.
It took him, I mean, if you follow the comics, like a good 2 years to fully get over it. He's still more focused on bringing Padme back. I'd say fully.
He was trying to bring Padme back in the 2020.
Which is the 2021. Yeah.
Which is between episode 5. He's still stuck on Padme.
Yeah, that's all he cares about.
He goes to Naboo to go see her tomb.
I need to read this series.
So good. Because he runs into Keira Knightley's body double. Like the Keira Knightley double.
Oh, yeah, the Sabe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he runs into Sabe, and they were basically like, she was like, oh yeah, you can't go in here, she's like, oh, we have some questions for you and blah 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 blah, like, I'll help you, you help me, just don't kill me. And because he couldn't kill her because she looked like Padme. And he's like, no, Padme's dead. He's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Sabe. He's like, oh,
we've met.
Well, yeah. Well, he didn't say that because everybody thinks that Anakin's dead. So they lure him into this false sense of security to bring him to her tomb, Padme's tomb, because she was so beloved by the entire planet. She was considered one of the best queens. And
they tried to amend their laws to let her run for more terms.
Yeah. And she was literally they got him to the tomb and they were like, hey, by the way, we are now sentencing you to death for the murder of Padme Amidala and Anakin Skywalker. And so, because nobody knows, that's not common knowledge that Darth Vader came out of nowhere. Nobody knows who he is. So it was just out of nowhere, we're going to try to kill this guy. The dog of the Empire. We're going to try to kill him because
Sabe knew because Bail knew from Obi-Wan.
I don't know, no, but Sabe doesn't know in the comics. She doesn't know he's Anakin. So Bail didn't tell her.
She's just killing random people.
Well, Bail did die on Alderaan. Yeah, we're talking about before Alderaan. Before we went to Alderaan places, Because this was, but she saw Vader post episode 5, but she did not know that Vader was Anakin, because they specifically like said, you are like, we are gonna kill you for Padme and for Anakin, because they were both so beloved.
They just thought that some random dude showed up and just killed both of them. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah. They didn't know that Vader was Anakin, because he doesn't say to Sabe, he doesn't say, hey, I know you.
I killed my wife. It's fine.
I made her die of a broken heart, which was the easiest cop out that George Lucas could think of at the time.
Dumb.
She's lost the will to live.
For another day.
Yeah, it could have just been a broken trachea.
Totally normal medical reason to die.
You know, ruptured lung. But that doesn't really go into the 20 minutes of fighting that happened, because she'd have been dead.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Anyway, Zach wants his headset back. So unless we have any other questions.
All right. Do we have any other questions before we let Leah run off and let her husband have his headset back? If not, then I guess we'll call it here. I will still be here streaming for the rest of the stuff. Do you think we'll see Maul in Bad Batch? Ooh.
No.
Maybe. It's not likely, but maybe. And if we had a Solo 2, I think we would see him, because I think it would. Solo 2 would be all about the Crimson Raiders, or Crimson Dawn, not Crimson Raiders. Crimson Raiders is Borderlands. Crimson Dawn. Yeah, and we're not getting a Solo 2, so, but I think we'd see him there. Or if they put a show in between Rebels and Clone Wars, Rebels and Bad Batch, we'd see him in there.
Yeah.
I think we have like a 5% chance of seeing him in, I think 5% chance of seeing him in Bad Batch, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like, you might happen to run across the Hermit Man. But I mean, we don't know what they get into. They might get into the crime syndicates because they're running away from the Galactic Empire.
Yeah.
So it's completely possible that one season is saved to see what's going on with, Crimson Dawn and all that stuff. And all, like, the other 70 crime syndicates that Maul starts, because he just steals people's money and does it.
He's got nothing else to do.
Yeah, what else is he gonna do? He's looking for Kenobi. And
Kenobi!
He's looking for Kenobi and doesn't know where to look, so he's like, I'll start crime syndicates.
That's the logical way to look for him.
Sounds good, bud. Yeah, he has nothing else he can do. What's he gonna do? He's got robot legs. Yeah. Besides challenge Darth Vader, who would decimate him. He ran from, they weren't on Korriban. Where were they? Dadgummit, I can't remember. Oh, was it in the comic? He almost won in the comic? Oh, it's Legends lore. Yeah, that's why. I'd have to go back and look at it, but I know, I'll be honest. I mean, Maul was strong. He was strong in technique. He was not strong in the Force, though.
Mm-mm.
He was strong in technique.
Brute force.
He was very, very good at brute force, which made him a good Sith.
But not a great
great fighter. Well, I mean, that's the way it goes. And I mean, the only reason he lost, but here's the thing, at the end of the day, it's Star Wars. Whoever wins, it was the Force deciding who won. It's what the Force wanted. Force wanted the Jedi to fall, they fell. The Force wants Darth Vader to have a really nasty fart that doesn't filtrate right. Guess what? It happened. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, it's also known as the writers make it up as we go. It's like,
yep.
It's like Superman, only on a galactic scale. So I'll grab that for later. Hopefully I remember to go through it.
On that note.
Oh,
Hi, kitties.
Awesome. Sweet. Okay. Well, that being said, I hope you all have a great and wonderful time. I think that's where we're going to call it for today. If you guys have any questions, have any suggestions, please tweet at us. Let us know. We have our socials down below. We also have the That's No Moon stuff down below. We'll also have everything in the show notes, like always. So that being said, we hope you guys have a great day. Stay awesome. Do great things. And remember, I'll go to you. Yeah.
May the force be with you.
Always. Adios.
Goodbye.